After fully reading this chapter, which is an amazing chapter, don't get me wrong, it got me questioning some of the Giants' purpose or their intentions with the Straw Hats. Yes, we know after Kashi them left Water 7, they tried to go back and see what their captains was doing, and instead of actually them trying to agree and be happy with each other, you see Brogy and Dory still fighting. This time they're actually using their fists, and so that's the reason why they paused their fighting, but they're still fighting to this day to see who's going to be the captain. And we already know how Vikings are. The proper death will be a proper duel with the great weapons they need to actually unalive each other. So the duel got on hold until they get new weapons to battle out with each other. But the most crazy and crucial thing to me is after that panel, you have a little side note of Sanji talking to one of the Giants, and Sanji actually likes the liquor that the Giants is giving the Straw Hats. Now this type of liquor is called absinthe, and it's dubbed the Green Fairy. Now this panel potentially correlates with the last page of this chapter, because if you don't know anything about absinthe, it causes hallucinations. And did you know in some countries absinthe is banned? Now in real deal terms, the people that actually was drinking heavily are the ones who's missing. We've been seeing Luffy drinking heavy, you got Sanji, you got Usopp, and you have Zoro, and you see Nami is gulping down a big jug of it. And us as watchers already know that somebody's on the coast of Elbaf waiting on the Straw Hats. Now if you trace absinthe all the way down to later times, it was actually linked to people who hallucinate, and it's crazy how somebody unalive his whole family blaming it on absinthe. Yes, this is factual history. It's even stated that absinthe is way worse than other alcohol brands. And you know what the scientists do? They get these little guinea pigs on these little pigs, and they tried this experiment out. And the pig who actually was consuming the absinthe had seizures, all type of hallucinations, and was not acting the same. Way different from the other brands that the pig was drinking. So this made me instantly question what the Giants, what Kashi and Brogy actually have got going on. And we all know Oda actually put hints inside his manga panels of actually what's going on in the near future. Sometimes some of them be a dead end, but he would get to later on in the story. And I feel like this correlates with the last panel of this chapter. This is the reason why the Giants said this. I don't know what's going on with the Giants, but are they friend or are they foe? But don't worry, we're gonna come back to this at the end of this video. But on a more positive note, we see that Bonney and Kuma actually had this fulfilling moment. As the One Piece fans, we all needed this, and we see that a happy Kuma smiling and looking over the horizon. Much needed, because of what happened in last arc, bro. These two suffered the most. I can say the most saddest story was Kuma's backstory, and we all needed this as fans. Thank you, Oda, for this, because we all needed the happy moment that Bonney and Kuma are sharing together is a fulfilling moment for every One Piece fan. Bonney and Kuma are on their way to Elbaf with the Straw Hats. Now I don't know if Kuma may be joining, you know, with Bonney with the Straw Hats, and maybe they have they land where they want to on Elbaf, right? The land that Bonney and Kuma already wanted for themselves. I think it will be a great start to survive in Elbaf, knowing they're away from the government, knowing that the government can't even reach them in Elbaf. This will be successful and throughout great for Bonney and Kuma to spend the rest of their days in Elbaf, and hopefully they can come and go as they please. But we have to talk about Barto now. Oda actually picked Barto burning Shanks' flag in a cover story. Now it's come full circle, because now we're talking about it now. So we know that Shanks cannot let Barto get away that fast for doing that. Like, we know who Shanks actually is. He's the emperor, right? He's the forefront man who may be finding One Piece. But before we talk about Barto and what he actually did in this panel, we have to talk about how Shanks actually feels. Now we see that Luffy is coming to the new world, and he's not playing with any Yonko. Luffy doesn't care. He's gonna go in your territory. He's gonna do whatever he wants to you. So if Shanks looking at this perspective and like, is Luffy trying to push up on me? I have to find out. Like, but no, Barto did this on his own. Even Barto elaborated that to Shanks. Like, this has nothing to do with Luffy. I did this on my own. I should never did it. And I think Shanks felt good about that, knowing that Luffy didn't have Barto do this. Barto did this on his own. But Shanks praised Barto for having so much faith and having so much great spirit that Barto have with Luffy. Like, Barto loved Luffy, look up to Luffy. Like, Barto's Luffy's biggest fan. So Shanks loved the fact that he loves Luffy. Like, Barto is the most faithful, loyal Nakama that Luffy actually had. Barto would go at the ends of the earth for Luffy, and he took it, the medicine, the poison, the fake poison, with no hesitation. And again, I think that Shanks felt some relief that the little guy who looked up to me is not trying to attack me, because all he's been doing is targeting Yonkos, but not me. So I think that friendship is still great between Shanks and Luffy, and I feel like that's the reason why Shanks actually didn't want to meet Luffy, because he did not know what time Luffy was actually on. But we seen the cause and effect that came with Bartolomeo doing that to Shanks' flag, and you seen how skillful Yasopp actually is. This man is a full-fledged great sniper, and Shanks let him do what he want to do. It's something that needed to be done, what Barto actually did. Cause and effect. So that was a must, and we cannot let Barto get away with Yasopp said. Like, it's got to be some reckoning. So the status of Barto is unknown. I'm pretty sure Barto's alive, just like Eustace. You know, Oda does not like killing off one of the main characters in his stories. So I think that Barto's still alive. Eustace is still alive. It's just the ships are destroyed. So they got to find new ships going forth in this story, going forth in the new world. Like, a pirate without his ship is not a pirate at all. And you have to understand where Shanks and Yasopp is coming from. Like, how can they go on with knowing that somebody burnt their flag and they didn't do anything at all? It was an outcome that was much needed. So people that can fear Shanks still, because at the same time, people don't want to think Shanks is scared of Luffy and his company, right? He still had people to protect. He still had a rank to uphold. But now we have to fast forward to Blackbeard and Full of Lead. So Blackbeard's dream was, well, one of his dreams, we can say, was to have Full of Lead be associated with the government, be a kingdom, and he feel like they let Kobe go, and that was ace in the hole to get that and maybe get a poneglyph or two out of the Marines, right? But I feel like Garb is the bigger prize in this area other than Kobe, right? Even though Kobe is the future of Marines, he's not like Garb. And essentially, in my opinion, Blackbeard has all the keys right now. Like, he has J. Garcia Saturn face-wise, and we already know that people don't know J. Garcia is unalive. Well, a short amount of people, like the vice admirals, the rear admirals, they're gonna know that, you know, J. Garcia Saturn is gone, or maybe how they looked at it, he was gone, but he still could be alive. They don't know. But J. Garcia Saturn is a great fourth figure for Blackbeard because of the accessibility that Blackbeard actually have now. And in some cases, it may be a dead end that he actually has J. Garcia face card. But until then we see that, it's still a bright future for Blackbeard. And we have to think that Blackbeard already has Law's rubbing. And I'm pretty sure Law has Big Mom rubbing. And I think that Blackbeard just got both of the Kaido and Big Mom's poneglyph rubbings because of some fact he had an encounter with Law. And I think that Law got the rubbings from Luffy, also how great and friends the lines they had. So essentially, Blackbeard is looking good right now. And I think that's why he was so hurt about Kobe getting away and Moria getting away also, because he has so many things in play for he can achieve all 4 poneglyphs. But I want to talk about Kazan for a minute now. I'm glad that I'm officially reading the Viz translation, because the Viz translation and TCB scans was quite different, but I'm glad I waited for the Viz translation. Now in the Viz translation, Kazan said, "I thought I killed him, but he ended up alive instead," right? So it was definitely different from the TCB scans. But he continues to say, "It took all of us together and we just barely managed." Now I'm thinking like Garb took all of them on and they barely managed to put him down, and he is still alive. Give Garb his roses, even how old he is, right? He's an OG. He took all of them under the mud, and it took a group effort, all of the Titans, to defeat him. And it took Kazan kill instinct to put him down, right? We know that since, you know, Kazan is a Titan now, he's the strongest Titan. I don't care what you say. He is the strongest Titan that Blackbeard actually has. The biggest asset that Blackbeard had is Kazan. But if you've been actually getting little details about Sword and how they operate and the people that's inside Sword, you would know that Garb maybe is a Sword member with Sengoku, and Garb and Sengoku is very close. Now it's been word on the street and about the One Piece fandom and the One Piece theories that Kazan is actually a double agent, is working with Sword. Now you know that Garb and Kazan, they train together. Garb trained Kazan, and the reason why he's so strong right now is because of Garb. Now I think that Kazan's actually a double agent that's working with Sword to infiltrate the Blackbeard pirates. The same panel we have with Kizan staring down the Blackbeard pirates and his back actually facing the panel is the same thing how all the admirals face off with their opposing opponents. And maybe this is Garb and Kizan playing this whole time. Maybe this is what Kizan actually had to do, give the kill intent but everybody can trust him. And I feel like hands down everybody on the Blackbeard pirates, all the titans, all the little small little people, they trust Kizan because of the battle they seen with Garb. I know that Garb knows that Kizan probably could not beat him on his own or beat him if he tried. So I think that Garb actually didn't go all out too much, but to real deal be zealous of it. Like they try to come out with this objective, him and Garb, like do your best to try to defeat me all you can, but people can trust you. And that is the plan I think that Garb and Kizan and Sengoku and Sword have together. But these plans that Blackbeard have in motion, even when he has Pudding on his team now to read the Poneglyphs once she awakened that third eye, right? The pieces are in checkmate with Blackbeard. The great things that he accumulated in a new world over this time skip and up until now, like he is in the forefront of obtaining One Piece. Like we see Shanks moving around, but we see the assets that Blackbeard actually have. So in my opinion, Blackbeard is in first place of obtaining One Piece. And not just that, you see that Lafayette is on Mayor Joas, right? Well, down there in the red port. Lafayette is keeping an eye on what's going on, and the Celestial Dragons are starving because of what revolutionaries did. Now, I think the revolutionaries have the blueprint of the Bendalas because they keep breaking down as the Bendalas trying to get food to the Celestial Dragons. I think it's a key component, it's a key part that the revolutionaries took away from the Bendalas, because we seen Sabo actually ride one of those Bendalas, right? So I think that Sabo did something because they had the blueprints of it, and without this missing piece, they're not going to never work. And I think that Sabo and the revolutionaries achieved their mission in an amazing way because of the simple fact that these Celestial Dragons are starving, and the Bendalas is not the way to actually get the food to Celestial Dragons. So it seems like the Celestial Dragons got to come to the red port down on the land, and I think that's Blackbeard's main focus. I think that's the plan that Blackbeard have. The Celestial Dragons, if they don't want to starve, they have to come down, and what Lafayette's going to continue to do is up to question, but I think it has to deal with Celestial Dragons coming down to the red port. Now, if the Celestial Dragons come down to the red port, he can have Devon come down there, act like Jay Garcia Saturn, and guide them somewhere. So maybe Blackbeard's trying to kidnap the Celestial Dragons and lose them as leverage. I'm telling you right now, if that's the route he's going to take, he's going to get anything he asks for, but he's going to get a whole lot of heat for doing that. So I can't wait to see Blackbeard's purpose and his plans, because this is going to be so significant. Blackbeard, you can say what you want to say about Blackbeard. This man is an amazing teacher. This man is amazing. He's A1 in that field. His vision, his storyboard is coming alive, and he's taking every proper step to actually be the Power King. Say what you want about this man, but he is brilliant. No teeth and all. Some teeth, but he is brilliant. And to even add leverage to Blackbeard, he has Caribou, who's going to tell him about the ancient weapons. Like, what else does this man need? Oh yeah, One Piece. And he is on the road to it. Like I said before, Blackbeard is #1 in the race when it comes down to obtaining One Piece. But after that, we see that it's already been 2 days since the Straw Hats left Egghead, and the Straw Hat ship and some of the Straw Hats are missing. Like I said before in the beginning of this video, we see that the heavy drinkers like Usopp, Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy, they're gone. And we see that Nami woke up in a Lego land, right? And like I said before, this absinthe, I think, in my opinion, had these guys hallucinating, and they eventually got succumbed to the liquor and got transported somewhere else. Maybe I think it's a devil fruit. You see how they had the castle fruit where you can have somebody come in his domain, right? And he's the big father. To see this going on, and Nami in his Viking attire, we already know that it's somebody from Elbaf is doing this, or somebody from Warland is doing this to the Straw Hats. Now, we've seen somebody already waiting for them on the shores of Warland, so we have to see exactly what's going on with Nami and everybody else, because we see that they're separated again, and we know how actually, or like doing it, separating the Straw Hats to get back together again. But I'm telling you right now, this has me question some of the giants, or the giants that's occupying the Straw Hats right now. This got me questioning what's going on. Could it be Loki because he's a trickster? It could because he may be in love with Nami. So maybe Loki has a feeling for Nami and he wants to marry Nami. And I feel like this would be great detail for Luffy if Nami marries one of the giants. Like, we know that Luffy might not marry Nami. We know that somebody in the Pirate Alliance might not marry Nami. But this would be great for the final war if Nami marries Loki, if that is the case. Luffy will have a great alliance. Not aside from that, Nika and the Giants worship him and think him as an idol or god. The alliance between Nami and the Giants will be so top tier for Luffy in the final battle. We already know that some of the Giants will follow Luffy because he's Nika, but all the Giants will have to follow Luffy now because Nami is married to Loki, which Nami will only do it for the means of Luffy if she really loves Luffy, and we already know she does. This will be a great asset for Luffy. All the Giants, every Giant, right, who's aligned with Loki in the kingdom will follow Luffy from now on out. A big plus. Even Big Mom couldn't do that. That's something that Luffy can do. Now, all this is speculation, but if this is the case, we already know the benefits of that. But if it's something else, that means that somebody was tracking the Straw Hats. Somebody is luring the Straw Hats into the dead end road. We already know that this is something that, you know, Oda likes to do. On the way voyage, something happens, we meet somebody new, and that will further details about what Elbaf have going on and what we have to do on Elbaf. But I think consuming the Green Fairy made this potential devil fruit or this power much more potent, because Nami's hallucinating maybe, and she's seeing these crazy things and they shouldn't be there, but with the help of the Green Fairy, everything's intensified. So we see how Nami looks, which is amazing, in her Viking outfit. So that give more detail that it's definitely an Elbaf thing. So we have centered around that we're going to Elbaf, and this is centered around, you know, Elbaf doing something to the Straw Hats, or somebody affiliated with Elbaf is doing something to Straw Hats will lead us to Elbaf. And this whole mystery thing is about how we're going to structure Elbaf around and what we need to do on Elbaf to get out of Elbaf. And the alliance that we're going to need with Elbaf will continue until the next arc, until the final war. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to get more of me and more One Piece content. Like I said before, love you, love yourself. Peace.